Would you observe a moment of silence with me in honor of those that did not make it home? Amen. As we gather here this morning, you may have noticed this small table. It's set here in a place of honor. It's to remind us that members of our armed forces are absent from us today. They cannot be here to enjoy today's festivities and all the things going on, and so we pause in the midst of our celebration and remember them. You will have noticed that this table is small. It indicates the frailty of one prisoner alone against many. Upon the table is a white tablecloth. It represents for us the purity of the intention of the individual that left to call its nation, to respond to its nation's call of arms. Upon the table you'll see a small plate, and upon that plate is a lemon wedge, and there is salt sprinkled around it. The lemon wedge reminds us of the bitterness of the fate of a prisoner who day after day has no idea of what his future holds. The salt granules represent to us the tears of their loved ones and the prisoners as they wait unsure of their future. On the table you'll see a vase, and around that vase is a red ribbon. And that red ribbon is reminiscent of red ribbons worn by thousands of Americans who are still calling for a complete accounting of every prisoner of war or missing in action soldier that has not been discovered what happened to them. Within that vase is a red rose. The red rose represents to us their loyalty, their love of not only their nation, but of freedom. You'll also see that on the table is a candle, and that candle's flame represents for all of us the light of hope that lives within the heart of each prisoner. Also on the table is an American flag, folded three corners. That represents to us that many laid down that final sacrifice in some faraway land, where their bones even today have laid to enrich the soil. Also on the table is a Bible. That represents to us that true freedom, even in captivity, only comes from above, and that faith in God is the one tool that each prisoner has to help battle their way back to freedom. There's a glass on the table, and it is inverted. It represents that our comrade cannot be with us and cannot toast in this day's festivities. And the chair is empty. Our comrades are missing from our midst. And so it's up to us to remember them and to declare their plight to the world. You know, when I was in boot camp, I received training in the military code of conduct. How many people here this morning are veterans? God bless you for your service. Do you remember the general orders of the century? You know, we have certain things that are expected of us when we serve this nation. And when they taught us about the possibility of captivity by the enemy, they told us to use everything within our power to cause the enemy to use as much manpower as possible to maintain captivity. And then the last thing they always taught us was never break faith with your comrades, your fellow prisoners, or with the United States of America, because this nation would spare no expense to see their quick and timely return to their homeland and their loved ones. Well, I'm disappointed to say that at the end of hostilities with North Vietnam, there were still over 1,000 still known alive prisoners. And they were just pushed aside because it was expedient. In 1992, at midnight, on a February night, the President of these United States signed a presidential order which relegated all POW MIAs to KIA BNR, which is killed in action, body not recovered. And I would say shame on our government. I would also say shame on us for not making a stink about it at the time. You know, we even now have a young man who's been held prisoner for more than 8 years in the Middle East. He's still alive. Just a video was released a couple of months ago. And yet, you never hear about him on the news. You never see him on TV. It's an American soldier that we sent into harm's way to help defend this land. And it is our responsibility to demand from our elected officials that they get to the bottom of it and they bring that young man home. I believe that the American biker is the last real voice for the POWs today. And I want to thank you for your support of the cause. This does conclude our service.